So hello YouTube, this is Slovenian Sonic HD, and today I've got Stopmat1998 here joining me,
Hello.
and today we're doing the F1 2015 driver predictions. So
Yay.
yeah, we'll see how we'll give our opinion on who will get seat where, and yeah.
Yeah, basically.
So should we start off at the current championship leaders?
Mercedes.
Yeah. So yeah,
Yeah.
they've already got everything contracted, but I wouldn't be too surprised if one of the drivers cancels their contract in favor of something else because of
Indeed.
the inter-team squabble and stuff.
Hmm. Yeah, I've got to agree with that. I mean, I don't really see one of the drivers leaving, but if they do, I kind of see why. And if one of the drivers was to leave, I probably would say it'd probably be Hamilton. But still, I don't really see where Hamilton would go though. Maybe Ferrari if he did decide to leave Mercedes, but still, I think Mercedes will stick with the same driver lineup. To be honest.
Yeah, I agree with that. So let's move on to, let's say, Red Bull.
Red Bull. This is an
Yeah,
interesting, actually.
they've also got everything confirmed, but there have been some rumors that Vettel might be going away to McLaren,
I
but
know that is
but
quite a wild rumor, to be honest. That's not something
yeah,
I've
yeah, but
expected.
I
But on this
just
website,
gone.
yeah, yeah, on this website I'm looking at now, apparently Fernando Alonso's in talks with Red Bull as well. He seems to be in talks with every team at the moment. But yeah, I still think Red Bull will keep Ricciardo and Vettel. I don't see Vettel moving away. I think he'll stay for at least one more season, and maybe for 2016 he might move on.
Yeah, cause like Ricardo's definitely, he looks like he's found himself a team that he really likes, and Vettel's also been at Red Bull for since 2009. I just don't see him moving on for next season. But if next season proves to be a disappointment for Vettel, I do see him moving in 2016.
Yeah, I've got to agree with that as well.
So let's move on to Ferrari.
Ferrari. This is the first really interesting one. So. At the moment, both Kimi Raikkonen and Fernando Alonso are contracted for next season,
Yeah.
but Fernando Alonso is rumoured to go to quite a few teams, including McLaren and
Mhm.
Red Bull. I think the McLaren one's probably more likely, but this is going to be interesting. I'm not sure what's going to happen with Alonso. I mean, will he go to McLaren? I don't know. I really don't know. Anything can happen, really, because obviously Jenson Button is under an awful lot of pressure at the moment. He's might lose his seat and he might be forced into retirement, which will be a huge shame. I wouldn't really like to see that, but
Yeah.
I would sort of see why. But as for Raikkonen, again, he's been under pressure recently, but I still think he'll stay at Ferrari. And if Alonso does leave, I think perhaps Hulkenberg might take his seat and maybe Bianchi might move up to Force India. I'm not sure what your thoughts are on that.
Hmm. Yeah, well, for at the moment, I'm really not sure if Alonso's gonna stay, cause he has had a lot of disappointment with Ferrari, cause he's been second in the championship like 3 times with the team, and he does look really frustrated with the car, and so I wouldn't be really surprised if he does change his team. But at the moment, I think that he's willing to give Ferrari next season as a ultimatum if they don't produce a really good car that can really fight at the front. That if they don't, he'll just leave. But if they do, then he might stay for another season. As for Raikkonen, yeah, he said that he is retiring at the end of 2015 and he will
Yeah,
stay, in my opinion. But
yeah,
and
he
if
will stay.
Alonso goes for some reason, I think Bianchi will probably take his seat because he is
Mm,
for a Ferrari Academy driver.
indeed. But
Yeah,
however, if Alonso and Raikkonen both leave, then it will probably be Hulkenberg and Bianchi at Ferrari. But I really don't see that happening. As you said, Raikkonen retiring at the end of 2015, he's got to stay at Ferrari for one more year, surely.
yeah. And apparently they've got Raikkonen has said multiple times that this season's car is a solid base for next season. So
Exactly.
yeah, he is probably gonna be really excited for next season more than the rest of this season.
Yeah.
So next up, it's Williams.
Williams. This is
Yeah.
again. Both drivers are contracted. Massa is probably definitely going to stay for next season. Bottas, however, has been rumoured to go to McLaren. But
Yeah, I have heard.
however, I think he is very close to signing a new deal with Williams. So I think their driver lineup will stay the same for next season. Not sure about you.
Yeah, I agree, because both drivers have performed quite good this season. Bottas even better than Massa.
Hmm.
Even though Massa is really experienced, and well, I don't really see them moving because there's no real place to move to, except for McLaren maybe. But they
Yeah.
probably, if somebody would have gone to McLaren, it would have been Bottas, they, because I don't feel like McLaren and Massa would mix really good together.
No. No, I don't. However, an interesting thing is that if one of the Mercedes drivers leaves, I reckon Bottas could take that vacancy at Mercedes. I think he definitely has the talent and the driver's skill. So I think he could possibly, if he, well, I mean, it will probably never happen, but if he does move to Mercedes, I think he could easily become a future world champion. If he does move there, that is.
Yeah,
But I just don't see it happening. I think Williams will keep the same driver lineup for next season.
yeah, I agree with that. So who's next? Is it McLaren? Yeah, it
It
is, I
is
think.
McLaren. So this is the most interesting one because
Yeah,
so many drivers are rumoured to go to McLaren.
and
Apparently,
currently nobody's contracted
no,
for next
nobody's
season
contracted
yet.
at all. So apparently, I'm just going to go through all this. Apparently, Fernando Alonso's in talks with McLaren. So is Sebastian Vettel. Stoffel Van Dorn is rumoured to go there. So is Bottas, and so is Romain Grosjean actually, who's out of contract at the end of the season at Lotus.
Hmm.
Neither Button nor Magnussen have got a contract just yet. But I think Magnussen will stay on for another year because I think it'll be a bit harsh to ditch him just after 1 year, as he's still young and he still has a lot of potential and he does still have quite a lot to show. So I think Magnussen will stay on at McLaren, but the second driver is going to be incredibly interesting because if Button, I don't know because I think he is very close to retirement, and it will be harsh for Ron Dennis to ditch Jensen Button or make him retire, to be honest. But it's a really hard one, this one, because again, I don't know who McLaren would put in. It would probably be Fernando Alonso, as he has been probably he's obviously been rumoured to go to McLaren, and I think he's probably the most likely driver that will go to McLaren if they decided to not give Button a new contract. I'm not sure about you on that one.
Yeah, well, I would agree with Magnussen definitely being on for another season. He has shown he's got the talent, but he has also made quite a few mistakes during this season. And I think that they will give him at least one more chance because he has been he has been with the team for quite a long time. But they have sponsored him and everything.
Yeah.
And yeah, but for Button, I'm not so sure because it's. And I also heard a rumor that Honda want Vettel and Newey to come to McLaren when they rejoin for next
That's
season.
yeah. So
But
that's again an interesting one because
yeah,
it does say on this website here. I will put a link to it in the description. That
yeah,
Vettel is in talks of McLaren Honda. So that's an interesting one. And Jensen Button, he's he's kind of lost it now. I think
mm,
he's an average driver. Let's say he's not a bad driver. He's not a brilliant driver anymore. He's sort of average. So I would kind of see why Ron Dennis would bring in someone like Sebastian Vettel or Fernando Alonso. But to be honest, it's really difficult. I really don't know what's going to happen. Honestly, I'm just clueless on this one. It could go either way. I really don't know.
yeah, I agree with you. But I don't. I'm not sure about Alonso because he has had that 2007 season with the team and he has
His age,
left
yeah. I was
because of.
thinking that.
But that was probably because of the team favoring Hamilton, and since there won't be any British driver if Button doesn't get the seat, he might go, but I still doubt it. He's still willing to give Ferrari another chance, but and in reality, there's not many drivers who could go, because the only one I could see really could see going, that's really someone I would put in the team is Grosjean, because
Hmm.
this season, the Lotus has been really, well, slow and not reliable and everything. And he doesn't look really happy in the team.
No.
And yeah, but still, it's still a really a mystery about McLaren because nobody knows, and for Grosjean
Nobody.
the same. But I don't
I
see
just
them putting Van Dorn in the team because he's about as young as Verstappen, and McLaren are not willing to take the risk.
No, I don't think so. Yeah, I think Van Dorn has impressed in GP2, but I still think he needs at least another season before he makes that big step to F1. Although
Yeah,
Max Verstappen, I think I'm not sure how old Stoffel Van Dorn is, but yeah, I think next year he'll probably be ready for F1. But then
yeah,
again, it is a real mystery, as you said, for McLaren. I really don't know which way it will go. It could go any way. But obviously, I think the driver who would go in would be Fernando Alonso, to be honest with you. But again, Grosjean, perhaps he's not. You can kind of clearly tell that he's not too happy at Lotus, even though he's not really showing it. But yeah, he's I don't. He's not happy with that car. It's just, as you
yeah.
said, really slow, really unreliable. Complete contrast to last year's car. But if any driver was to go to the McLaren to replace Button, I think it would be Alonso.
Hmm. Yeah. And like I would say that Grosjean would replace that next season. McLaren we're gonna have Magnussen and Button or Grosjean because I don't really see the other two guys that are rumored. Anybody else who's rumored to go there.
Yeah, indeed.
So moving on to what's next for India.
It's India,
Yeah.
indeed.
I don't really see anything changing here unless a big seat gets opened like at Ferrari. Because like Nico Hülkenberg is also a Ferrari Academy driver, I think, and Perez was disappointed at McLaren, so he won't really be happy to go back.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with you. I think obviously both drivers are still contracted for next season. Again, if Fernando Alonso does decide to go to McLaren, I think Hulkenberg could be the favourite to go, although Bianchi has been sort of waiting patiently. But so is Hulkenberg, though. He's been waiting longer for a bigger team. So I
Yeah.
think if any driver was to go to Ferrari, it probably would be Nico Hulkenberg. But still, I don't know because if Alonso does go to McLaren, as I think he will, that's
Yeah.
the decision I just made now. I think Button will leave at the end of the year. I think he will retire at the end of the season, which is a shame to see, but it has to happen
Mhm.
one day. But yeah, I think if any driver was to go, I think it would be Hulkenberg, just simply because he's been waiting for longer, and although he hasn't, he's been very consistent this season, so I think he has had a pretty decent season. I was about to say he hasn't had a great season, but to be honest, he has. He's been really consistent. I think he's
Yeah.
about fifth or sixth in this championship, but I think if any driver was to go to Ferrari, it would have to be Hulkenberg, and then I think Bianchi would make the jump up to Force India, and then and I think when Raikkonen leaves, perhaps Bianchi can make the jump up to Ferrari for 2016, with the lineup being Bianchi and Hulkenberg for that season.
Mm. Well, that might happen, but I don't really see it happening, in my opinion, because reasons discussed before with Alonso, and yeah.
Yeah,
So what's next?
I believe it's
I think it's Toro Rosso.
yeah, it's Toro Rosso. Yep.
Yeah. Well, they already confirmed it officially. It's Verstappen and Kvyat, and yeah, well, Kvyat has impressed this season. He has shown much more promise than Vern, and yeah, he is a driver to certainly watch out for in the future.
Definitely.
And Verstappen, I'm not really sure about him.
Mm. Again, I mean, this time last season when Kvyat was confirmed, none of us were really sure about him. We were thinking, oh no, he's going to be really bad. He's just a pay driver. But actually, Kvyat, even though I don't know how much money he does bring into Toro Rosso, but he does certainly have talent, and he does definitely have the potential to be a future world champion. So I think Toro Rosso
Mm,
definitely made the right decision there. With Verstappen, I think he believes he's in F3 at the moment. I'm not sure
yep.
where he is in the championship. I think he's had a relatively mixed
He's
season.
no, I think that he's second in the championship,
Okay.
and he has been the first driver this season to get a hat trick of wins at the same weekend,
Yeah.
and he had like 6 consecutive wins, and he has impressed. I have watched a few races, but I'm not really sure if he's ready for F1 because he has
No.
been in single seaters for just this season, and I personally would sorry, I personally would give him another season in like GP2, GP3 before I would have contracted him. But I guess Red Bull have their plans.
Yeah, and yeah, I completely agree with that. I'm not sure about Verstappen. We'll see next season how he does. I don't think we can really judge yet because obviously he did win the GP3 championship last year, so
Yeah,
and he obviously has shown a lot of promise this year. So he was obviously Toro obviously made the right decision putting him in, or Red Bull, whoever's decision it was,
yeah,
to put him in. But nevertheless, Kvyat and Verstappen both confirmed for next season.
yeah. So moving on to Marussia.
Yep,
They
this is
have
another interesting
made
one.
yeah that they have made huge improvements over the last few seasons because they actually have been faster than Caterham after the few races that we had at the start of the season. They just started going, they were just faster that time, and Bianchi really did a good job in Monaco to get the points. And yeah, so, and the interesting thing is that I don't think that if Bianchi gets a good team, if a better team, any team, even maybe Sauber, that he'll probably leave Marussia.
Mm,
But I don't see Chilton leaving because he does bring a lot of money into the team, and
yes,
he'll probably
indeed, yeah,
stay for another season. And for the second seat, I do think that Gutierrez might get it because Marussia
yeah,
are in need of money and Gutierrez
has
has
a
the
lot of
money.
that.
But I think that at Sauber they have been not really impressed with him that much because
Yes,
he hasn't really
he
shown much promise outside of a race or two maybe.
no,
So Chilton and Gutierrez for me.
Chilton. Okay, so my thoughts on this. I mean, Bianchi. If a Force India or a Ferrari seat doesn't open up for him, then I think Bianchi's pretty much stuck at Marussia, which is a shame. But hopefully Marussia can improve for next season. Hopefully they can have a fast car. It's unlikely, but hopefully it will happen. So Bianchi will only stay at Marussia, in my opinion, if a seat doesn't open up at Force India or Ferrari. As for Chilton, as you said, he brings in a lot of money to the team, so I think Chilton will stay for another season just because of that. And there is a driver here called Marciello, I think it's pronounced, who's rumoured to go to Marussia. He is currently a GP2 driver for Racing Engineering, and he's ninth in the championship. So I'm not really too sure about Marciello. I doubt he'll be in F1 next season, but Chilton, I think, is definitely going to be at Marussia next year for absolute sure. The second driver, again,
Yeah.
is another interesting one. I'm not too sure. Maybe Carlos Sainz Jr. if Red Bull, because I think Red Bull could pay Marussia a lot of money to put Carlos Sainz Jr. into that Marussia seat for next season. But I'm not too sure, really. Chilton, definitely. The second driver, I'm really not too sure, if I'm going to be honest with you.
Yeah. So
Although, hang on, Stoffel Van Dorn could go to Marussia actually if McLaren pay Marussia quite a lot of money to allow him to have sort of one season there. If Bianchi
mm,
obviously leaves the team to go to a sort of a faster, higher team, then I think Van Dorn could take that seat actually. So I'm actually going to say Stoffel Van Dorn and Max Chilton from Marussia.
okay, so that's a completely legitimate prediction.
Yeah.
Okay, so next up is Sauber, a team that really disappointed this season. Because last season, up to about this point in the season where we are now, they didn't have much good. They didn't really do good. But after that, Hulkenberg just drove the wheels of the car and did some phenomenal things. Even a fifth at Monza and qualified first, so I was impressed.
Yeah,
But
that
this
Monza race.
season, nothing at the moment.
No. I think that's
And
also
yeah,
partly down to the driver lineup, to be honest with you.
yeah, well, cause Shooter when he was still at Force India, he was pretty good in my opinion at Force India, and he really liked the car when he was there. And, yeah, but this season he just doesn't get along with the car in my opinion. And Gutierrez, like I said before, not much promise, but he does have the money.
Indeed,
Um,
yeah, yes. Yeah, carry
yeah.
on.
No, I just yeah, go on. I didn't really want to say anything.
No. Well, my thoughts on this is that Sittil probably, I don't think he really deserves a drive in F1 next season. He just really hasn't impressed this season at all. And obviously Hulkenberg definitely outperformed the car, as you said, last season. You know, Sittil, Gutierrez haven't
Mm.
showed any signs of that at all. Although in recent races they have improved ever so slightly, I think Sittil being the faster one. But I think if any driver was to be ditched, it would be Sittil because he's not bringing in as much money as Gutierrez is, and obviously Sauber are in need of a lot of money. A driver who is rumoured to go there is De Silvestro, Simona Del Silvestro. Sorry,
Yeah.
couldn't pronounce that for a second. But yeah, another female driver. She's been rumoured for quite a long time. I'm not so sure whether she'll go there. Although I think perhaps De Sauber could be Guido van der Garde, because I think it was kind of harsh how he had, how he wasn't in F1 this season. Now Caterham sort of ditched him, but obviously that was really for money reasons, to be honest. But I think van der Garde could possibly go in as a replacement for Suttil. Again, I don't think Gutierrez really deserves to be in F1, but I think perhaps John-Eric Byrne also has a chance, but however, he's not bringing in much money either. So, again, I still see Gutierrez staying on for another year, unfortunately, alongside Guido van der Garde.
Yeah, and my opinions are a bit different because I see, yeah, Guido the guard apparently has found a big sponsor and he's already signed a rumor, has, sorry, signed a contract with the team. And yeah, he has shown a bit of promise when he was at Caterham, but nothing really special. But as I said, I think that Gutierrez will probably go to Marussia and that Bianchi might replace him.
But
Although
yeah,
I really am
yeah,
skeptical about their Silvestro because she has raced in IndyCar apparently and has shown some promise, but I would really have to see how she does in European single seaters like GP1, GP2 because it's different than American racing in basically every way. So yeah, my
yeah.
predictions are Vanguard and Bianchi. Because like
Okay.
Ferrari have sponsored them and Sauber have got Ferrari engines and they might get a deal done for cheaper engines or something.
Exactly. I think Ferrari could pay Sauber a lot of money to allow Bianchi to be in that car.
Yeah. So we're done with Sauber. Now the last confirmed
Actually, no, we haven't
team.
done Lotus yet, have we?
No, we didn't.
Oh no, we haven't done
Yeah,
Lotus. We'll go to Lotus now. So
yeah.
at the
But
moment, Pastor Maldonado is contracted with Lotus for whatever reason, probably because he's bringing in a lot
money.
of money from Venezuela.
And yeah,
Gro
he with that money they'll buy Mercedes engines. It's
exactly
confirmed.
because
Actually, I
they,
heard it was confirmed already.
yeah. Although on this website it says Mercedes engines rumored for next season,
Yeah,
but the second driver is a mystery because Grosjean is out of contract,
yeah.
and to be quite honest with you, I don't see Grosjean moving elsewhere. I don't see him moving to McLaren. He could move to McLaren if Fernando Alonso decides to stay at Ferrari. I think that's possible. But if Grosjean does go to McLaren, who will go to Lotus? That's the interesting thing. I'm not
Hmm.
100% sure. From the drivers who have been sort of ditched so far, who don't have a drive, we have Jensen Button. I don't see Button going to
Hmm.
Lotus. I think if
Yeah, I
Button leaves
don't
McLaren, then that's
either.
him. That's him
Out.
out of F1, I think.
Yeah.
But again, perhaps maybe I was going to say Alexander Rossi, but I don't think that's never going to happen really. Jean-Eric Verne against it's a possibility, but yet he has really no links of Lotus, so I'm not
Yeah.
really too sure on that one. I think, to be honest, I think Grosjean will stay at Lotus. I think Lotus will retain the same lineup for next year. But
Hmm.
again, if Grosjean does go to McLaren, then I know I've said this so many times, but I'm really not sure. It's really hard to sort of make a decision because, again, I just don't know.
Yeah, I would have to agree with you because Maldonado is here obviously because of the money, and Grosjean also had Renault behind him and Total, which are the engine, no, the fuel, which provide the fuel for the team and stuff. But since they will be moving to Mercedes engines, this means that Grosjean's role will be Grosjean's money will kind of be a lot he'll bring in a lot less of money, and of course, the team are also in a tight financial situation already, and I still think they haven't paid Kimi off fully, even though
Oh
it's
yeah, yeah,
already
yeah.
mid 2014. But I, yeah, cause like as Toby said, and you watch the predictions video of Hamilton fan and Toby.
I might. I don't think I
Yeah,
have, but yeah, go
because
on
Toby said
anyway.
like Grosjean is kind of stuck at Lotus, and yeah, I would agree with that.
Yeah,
Cause
he's. I think. I
yeah,
think
cause go on.
yeah, if Fernando Alonso doesn't go to if Fernando Alonso doesn't leave Ferrari, if he stays at Ferrari, and if Button gets ditched anyway, I think Grosjean could take that vacant McLaren seat. But again, as Toby, I do agree with what Toby said. I think Grosjean is pretty much stuck at Lotus, to be honest.
Yeah, because at the moment, none of the other teams that he would consider going to have a seat open. Because he is a driver, and after, when he debuted in 2009, he was kind of not good, and because he was just thrown into that seat mid-season, which was a huge mistake in my opinion. It really was bad for Grosjean's self-esteem and everything. But when he returned with the team in 2012, he really impressed.
Yeah,
Well, except for the crashes, but he fixed that in 2013, and he really is a quality driver. And in my opinion, if he was out of contract and if I had a team, I would put him in it.
yeah, I think. Again, I still see that Lotus lineup staying the same though, because as again, Grosjean is pretty much stuck at Lotus because he really has nowhere to go unless
Yeah.
Button leaves McLaren or if he retires, and if Alonso doesn't go to McLaren or any of the other drivers don't go, then I think that is a possibility for Grosjean. But still, I think the Lotus lineup for next year will be Maldonado and Grosjean.
Yeah, I would probably agree with. I would agree with that.
Yeah,
So next up, it's the last confirmed team of 2015. Okay, confirmed. We don't really know much, to be honest. Caterham. Well,
indeed.
there's a big question mark on what will happen if the team will even be named Caterham, because in the mid of this season, Tony Fernandez sold the team to some Swiss or Arabian investors. And yeah, so now, and they have really kind of, well, the situation is like that because they apparently are now charging about 300,000 per race. You have heard that?
Free, really?
Yeah. And
Wow.
currently Marcus Ericsson has got a big sponsor who sponsors the team and gives that 300,000 per
Dear.
race to the team. But Kobayashi, yeah, he
No.
really doesn't, because he had that million and something at the start of the season, which he got from his fans after 2011 or 2012,
2012, yeah.
and apparently that money ran out at Caterham, and they need somebody to pay him, so that's why Lotterer got the seat at Caterham this season.
Yeah. Well,
And I don't really know what will happen next season, so you go ahead and I'll
alright.
think about it.
Well, obviously, Caterham have kind of ditched Kobayashi. Unfortunately, I feel sorry for Kamui, but I don't think he'll
Yeah.
return for this season. Obviously, Lotter's in the car at the moment, but however, I see perhaps Carlos Sainz Jr. going into the car for the remainder of the season because I think Red Bull could pay Caterham that amount of money to put him in the car for next season and possibly for the remainder of this season. I'm not sure about that, but to be honest, because Marcus Ericsson has a big sponsor that pays the team a lot of money, I think Ericsson will keep that Caterham seat, although he is probably arguably one of the worst drivers on the grid, but that doesn't matter. I think well, it does, but obviously F1 sort of revolves around money nowadays, so I think Ericsson will keep that drive at Caterham. And I think Carlos Sainz Jr. could also go to Caterham next season, or Alexander Rossi, if Jean Haas, or whatever his name is, pays Caterham a lot of money to put him in the car, because obviously
Hmm.
I think Haas really wants Rossi in his car for 2016. But if I was to choose a driver lineup for Caterham, I think it would be Ericsson and Sainz Jr.
Hmm. Yeah, right. The Caterham is a really big question mark over everything because Kobayashi is definitely out because he hasn't got a big sponsor. Well, Ericsson has got a big sponsor, but we'll see if they still want to sponsor him, even though he hasn't shown any real promise this season. So,
No.
but I mostly see next season two pay drivers that bring a lot of money into the team. Cause like
Yeah.
maybe Gutierrez, cause he
Hmm.
brings a lot of money, and I don't think that Sauber will want to keep him after the disaster that has been this season. And for the other seat, well, probably Ericsson or some young gun that has got a lot of money behind him.
Yeah, I think Sainz Jr. if he does get the Caterham seat, he'll have a lot of Red Bull backing. But
Yeah,
even though I don't see Red Bull paying 300,000, is it dollars or pounds per race? I don't know.
Euros, I think.
Euros per race. That's just so much money. Thinking about it, but in F1, it's probably not a lot. And obviously, Ericsson does have that amount of money to pay each race, so Ericsson will probably stay. And Sainz Jr., if Red Bull would probably agree to backing him up on that one, then I think he could go to the team. And Gutierrez, I'm not sure how much money he's bringing into Sauber, but if he has that much money, then I think perhaps Gutierrez could go to Caterham. And the other Sauber seat, again, it's a mystery, really.
Yeah, well, cause it's really hard to predict these things. So,
Indeed.
well, so we have one thing remaining, but that thing is really not confirmed or anything. But they want to join the grid next season. It's Forza Rossa.
Indeed.
It
So,
apparently Colin Coase is gonna be the engineer
oh
or
god,
something.
it's not a repeat of HRT, please.
Yeah, that's what I thought. But yeah, well, they are real mystery because I don't really think that they employ any of the current F1 drivers. I think, in my opinion.
Wait, what I think for Forza
Yeah.
Rossa, a possibility. I think perhaps that team could save Jean-Eric Vergne's F1 career because I'm assuming Forza Rossa have a lot of money if they want to enter F1, so I'm assuming they'll be willing to perhaps pick up Jean-Eric Vergne. I'm not too
Mm.
sure, but I think Vergne is. Well, I think Forza Rossa was definitely an option for Jean-Eric Vergne for 2015 because obviously they haven't been confirmed yet. They're just rumored. To be honest, I think it'll be 2016 for them, but we'll talk about them anyway. So
Yeah.
yeah, I think Jean-Eric Vergne for that team. And again, I'm really not sure because really depends who sort of loses out on the drive because somebody's going to have to.
Yeah.
But again, I don't know. Maybe Carlos Sainz Jr. if he doesn't get the Caterham drive, it's
Hmm.
honestly really hard to predict. Oh god, this is
Yeah.
embarrassing now. But I literally just have no idea. It's just anything could happen really. I mean, I think Vergne is quite a huge possibility for Forza Rossa, but anyone else, it's maybe even Romain Grosjean, but I still see him being stuck at Lotus, so I don't
Yeah.
know. I think Vergne's
Hmm.
definitely an option for Forza Rossa. Second driver, not sure.
Well, my opinion, or maybe they'll pick up a experienced F1 driver just because it's their first season. Because apparently that's what has F1 want to have. Like somebody who's got experience with F1 and somebody American is what I
So
heard.
yeah, that'll be
So,
that'll
but
be Alexander Rossi will be the American, that's for sure.
yeah. But for Forza Rossa, maybe it's gonna be suitor if they want somebody
Hmm.
experienced, but who knows? And the the other possibilities, in my opinion, are uh, the Antonio Felix da Costa, cause like he has gone to DTM now and has been like not really impressed with DTM. I think that he has been ditched by Red Bull twice already, cause he has shown on Twitter that there's some news coming on the evening that Verstappen was announced, and on the same day that Kvyat was announced last season. Like he
Yeah,
even
he
tweeted "Hello F1" but then they announced Kvyat and he was like broken hearted.
yeah, I
And
do feel extremely sorry for Felix da Costa because he's lost out on two possible drives, but
yeah,
oh, in a way, I do hope he actually gets that Forza Rossa seat alongside Jean-Eric Vergne, but again, I'm not sure that's going to happen. Again,
yeah,
another driver who could go to Forza Rossa is this Rafael Marciello, who was rumoured to go to Marussia, I think. He drives obviously race engineering in GP2, and I'm looking at his record now, and it doesn't look too great actually. He got 2 podiums in Austria, and he won I think it was a sprint race in Belgium.
Yeah.
So again, his record hasn't been amazing, but perhaps he's bringing in a lot of money. But at this moment, I'm not sure whether Forza Rosso need the money. I'm not really too sure on that. But again, I think John-Eric Werner, perhaps Antonio Felix da Costa to Forza Rossa.
Another maybe that I would put in the category of probably gonna be in Forza Rossa, it's the Resta, because he has been out of an F1 season. He has expressed that he wants to return to F1, and I think that could be one of his last chances,
Yeah,
because
I think
it's one team that don't really have a lot of drivers to choose from at the moment, and they would consider him because he's got experience and everything. But yeah, it's a really
yeah,
tough one.
I think yeah, that pretty much sums up the video, doesn't it? Been a
Yeah,
long one.
yeah. So okay, everyone. So we thank you for watching, and well, this is gonna be on both our channels, I guess.
Yeah, it's going to be on
Should I do
both our
it?
channels. So yeah, guys, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to leave a like and subscribe if you're new to
To
the channel. Be sure to comment on, well, perhaps your thoughts and your predictions.
yeah,
Whether you
what do you
agree with
think
any
of
of
our
our...
predictions?
Yeah, you're probably going to disagree with a lot of ours. I think I know someone who will probably disagree with a lot of our predictions. But yeah, anyway, guys, if you have enjoyed the video, as I said before, like, subscribe, and comment. And we'll see you
And
next time.
of
Bye-bye.
course, share this video. Cause bye.
Yeah.
Congratulations, that's a well-deserved